Have you ever wondered why the most influential people in the world rarely speak about their personal lives? Why do the most important figures remain so reticent, letting their actions do the talking? There's a reason for this, and it's one most people fail to understand. The less others know about you, the more control you have over your life. If you've ever felt tired, confused, or even betrayed after revealing too much, this film will shift how you perceive the world. Why do we feel the urge to share everything? Why do we expose our plans, troubles, and deepest thoughts so easily? It all comes down to human psychology. The brain is wired for connection. From childhood, we're conditioned to believe that sharing makes us closer to others. While that may be true in some cases, it's also a hazardous trap. When you say too much, you expose yourself. You open the door to judgment, criticism, and manipulation. You may think you're developing trust, but in reality, you're providing them ammunition. The mind seeks validation. That's why people rush to publicize their aspirations, looking for encouragement. But studies reveal that when you talk about your aspirations before accomplishing them, your brain releases the same dopamine as if you had already accomplished. This false sense of accomplishment makes you less likely to follow through. Talking fools your mind into feeling that the task is already done, and that's why most individuals never reach their full potential. They waste energy on words instead of action. Then there's the illusion of proximity. People feel that disclosing personal data will make them closer to others. But not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Some people listen not to understand, but to gather information. Some will smile to your face and disseminate your words behind your back. Others will act encouraging while secretly rooting for your downfall. Silence is protection. The less you share, the less control others have over you. Keeping your feelings, plans, and struggles to yourself forces people to judge you by your actions, not your words. It disables their power to interfere with your progress. The strongest people don't want validation. They proceed in silence and let their outcomes speak for themselves. They understand that privacy isn't concealment, it's power. Stay with me to the finish, and you'll discover a powerful secret that can give you an edge in life. A secret followed faithfully by many successful and respected persons. Now let's speak about why silence and mystery are your greatest strengths. Why do individuals overshare? It starts with a basic psychological need: validation. We desire connection, approval, and understanding. That's why we discuss our aspirations, struggles, and plans. We want to feel seen and heard. But here's the truth: most people don't care as much as you believe. The human brain is wired for self-interest. Everyone is focused on their own concerns, desires, and struggles. They might listen, but do they actually care? Or are they just gathering information? Psychology tells us that when we reveal too much, we give up aspects of ourselves that might be exploited against us. Our words become data, and our emotions become leverage. The more people know about you, the easier it is for them to judge, manipulate. So, what happens when you stay silent? Imagine stepping into a room and saying nothing. People will start wondering about you. They'll try to figure you out. The less people know, the more their minds fill in the spaces. And here's where it gets interesting. People always presume more about those who reveal less. Psychologists call this the ambiguity effect. When information is missing, the human brain fills the gaps with intrigue, admiration, or even dread. This means that by just speaking less, you naturally attract respect and intrigue. Silence makes people intrigued. It gives you strength. It requires others to observe, rather than assume they know everything about you. And when you do talk, your words have more weight. The hidden cost of oversharing. Oversharing isn't just about giving up too much information. It's about losing control. When people know your thoughts, they can predict your behavior. When they know your weaknesses, they can exploit them. Think about it. How many times have you told someone your plans, only to feel disappointed when they doubted you? How many times have you opened out, only to feel criticized later? How many times have you discussed a goal only to lose motivation? There's a reason behind that. Studies demonstrate that when you talk about your objectives before accomplishing them, your brain releases the same dopamine as if you had already accomplished. This tricks your mind into feeling accomplished, making you less likely to follow through. Keeping things hidden safeguards your momentum. Why mystery is magnetic. People are inherently intrigued to mystery. The less they know, the more they desire to know. Think about the most admired individuals, leaders, entrepreneurs, even celebrities. The ones who keep their private lives hidden are typically the most intriguing. When you maintain an aura of mystery, you demand attention without chasing it. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. People appreciate those who are selective with their words. It suggests strength, confidence, and emotional control. The world doesn't need to know your every thought, your challenges, your plans, or your feelings. These are yours to defend. You don't owe anyone explanations. The less you reveal. Final thought, the reward of silence. Now here's what most people won't tell you. The less they know, the freer you are. Freedom isn't just about what you do. It's about what you don't say. When no one knows your next move, no one can block it. When no one knows your troubles, no one can use them against you. And when no one knows your deepest thoughts, you remain in control of your own mind. So starting now, embrace stillness. Let folks wonder. Let them assume. The ones who talk the most rarely possess actual power, but the ones who speak with intention, they govern their world. And if you've persevered until the conclusion of this video, you're about to discover how to master the art of mystery and utilize it to your advantage. Keep watching. The best is yet to come. Every word you speak bears weight. But what most people don't realize is that the more you communicate, the more you expose yourself. Not everyone who listens is a friend. Not everyone who grins has good intentions. And the more people know about you, the easier it is for them to use your own words against you. It starts subtly. You express your dreams, and someone plants a seed of doubt. You share your struggles, and people start judging you as weak. You open up about your mistakes, and now that's all they remember. Humans have a natural tendency to focus on flaws, weaknesses, because it helps them feel better about themselves. People judge. It's in their nature. They classify you depending on the details you share. If you talk about your fears, they'll identify you as afraid. If you disclose your insecurities, they'll regard you as weak. And if you divulge your goals, they might discourage you, duplicate you, or secretly pray you fail. That's when manipulation begins. Your words can be twisted, altered, and turned against you when you least expect it. Have you ever opened out to someone only for them to subsequently exploit your own comments to embarrass or discredit you? That's because information is power. And when you give too much, you hand others the tools to rewrite your tale. Silence is your shield. When you speak less, you give people nothing they can use against you. When your ideas stay secret, no one can anticipate your next step. And when you control your words, you control your reality. The most powerful people realize this. They listen more than they say. They observe more than they explain. And when they do speak, every syllable is intentional. Because in a world full of noise, the silent ones always have the power. Trust is a deadly delusion. People think that if someone listens to them or displays attention, that person must be trustworthy. But that's rarely true. The reality is, most people aren't listening to understand, they're listening to respond. They gather what you say, sometimes without meaning to, sometimes with purpose. And when the time is right, that information can be used in ways you never thought. People change, ships deteriorate. Loyalties fluctuate. The one who formerly backed you can turn against you. And if they know too much, they hold power over you. They know what makes you doubt yourself. They know your weak areas, your anxieties, your vulnerabilities. And when their motives shift, all of it becomes ammo. Many have discovered this the hard way. They trusted too fast, shared too much, and a private chat became gossip. A personal struggle morphed into casual banter. A dream was mocked behind closed doors. That's why the wise act differently. They don't rush into trust. They don't expose everything. They recognize real trust is earned, not given. They observe before saying. They test intentions. And most of all, they hide their deepest ideas, only revealing them to those who've shown loyal over time. Because in a world that shifts like the wind, your silence is your safety, your privacy is your shield, and the less others know, the less influence they have. Predictability is a weakness. The more people can anticipate your activities, the easier it is for them to influence, prevent, or control you. But when you're unpredictable, when no one knows your next move, you become powerful. Most people live publicly. They disclose their goals, they explain their decisions, they share their ideas freely. And in doing so, they become easy to read, easy to manage, easy to stop. When people know your plan, they can prepare, they can compete, they can plant uncertainty, they can talk you out of your vision. But when you move in silence, when you keep your ambitions private, no one can interfere, no one can lay traps. No one can obstruct a path they don't even know you're walking. Mystery breeds strength. When you speak less, people begin to wonder. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you're preparing, and that makes them anxious. It forces people to respect you. It makes them cautious because uncertainty is powerful. The best minds, the most successful people, The most powerful individuals all have one thing in common: they don't explain themselves, they act, they move, they strategize, and by the time the world notices what they've done, it's already too late to stop them. So if you want to keep in control, act unexpected. Keep your plans to yourself. Let your actions do the talking. Let them surprise folks, because the less they know, the less they can do to stop you. Every word you speak, every idea you share, every secret you reveal, it all drains vitality, and your energy isn't endless. The more you squander it on unimportant talks, the less you have for what genuinely matters. Talking drains you. Explaining yourself drains you. Defending your choices, explaining your behavior, it all steals your mental power. And for what? To be understood by people who might not even care. To impress those who are too distracted by their own lives. Most people don't see this. They chat ceaselessly, disclosing every aspect of their ambitions, their challenges, and at the end, they feel exhausted, drained, empty. Because words take your power. They scatter your focus. They hand away control. But when you guard your energy, when you talk with intention, when you choose silence over noise, you start to feel stronger. You guard your thoughts from distractions. You save your energy for what genuinely counts. Silence isn't only about keeping secrets. It's about protecting your inner world. It's about valuing yourself enough not to squander words, not to chase acceptance, not to give away your tranquility. So the next time you feel the impulse to explain yourself, pause. Ask yourself, does this serve me? Does it make me stronger? Or am I just tossing my energy into the wind, hoping for understanding from those who never actually care? Your energy is sacred. Guard it, protect it. Because once it's gone, you don't get it back. It's a harsh fact to swallow, but one that will set you free. Most people don't actually care about your problems, your grief, or your dreams. They might listen. They might nod. They might offer pleasant words. But deep down, they're focused on themselves. Think about it. How many times have you poured out your heart, only to learn later they forgot everything? How many times have you disclosed your greatest struggles, only to feel misunderstood? It's not that people are cruel, it's just human nature, self-preservation. Everyone's fighting their own struggle. And once you grasp that, you stop expecting so much. You stop looking for validation. You quit wasting your energy trying to be understood. Oversharing could feel like connection, but frequently it's just giving others material to talk, to judge, and sometimes to use against you. The moment you stop expecting others to care as passionately as you do, that's when you take your power back. You stop. When you stop seeking acceptance, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop relying for someone to save you, you begin to rely on yourself. You defend your thoughts, focus on your progress, because at the end of the day, the only person who genuinely understands you, the only one who truly cares about every element of your life is you. So, keep your thoughts near and your dreams safeguarded. The less others know, the more peace you'll have. Peace isn't found in being heard. It's not found in continuously explaining yourself to others. It's found in silence, when you stop wasting energy on superfluous words, when you stop allowing people enter your head, and when you recognize that not everything needs to be communicated. Each time you talk, you invite opinions, judgments, and unneeded noise. The more you reveal, the more others believe they have the right to remark on your choices, your intentions, your emotions. Before long, your head is filled with voices that aren't yours, voices of doubt, criticism, and distraction. But when you stay silent, when you keep your life secret, you take back power. You stop letting others influence your thinking, you stop handing over your emotional stability, and you stop allowing the outer world to determine your inner calm. There's power in being selective with your words. There's freedom in keeping some things to oneself. The less you speak, the less turmoil you invite into your life. The fewer people know, the fewer opinions you have to control, and the more you guard your mind, the more serenity you generate. Not everything needs an explanation. Not every sensation needs to be shared. Not every plan needs to be revealed. Some things are designed to stay within you, protected, nurtured, and free from the influence of others. Your quiet isn't weakness, it's strength, it's discipline. It's the ability to navigate through life without always seeking acceptance, without continuously justifying yourself, without allowing the outer noise to upset your inner world. So, choose peace over useless words, choose privacy over validity, because in the end, the less others know, the more control you have over your life. Respect isn't acquired by explaining yourself, it's earned by how little you need to. The more you talk, the more others take your words for granted. The more you reveal, the less important your presence becomes. People respect something they don't fully grasp. They respect those who don't feel the need to continuously prove themselves. But when you're always explaining, always justifying, always letting others inside your world, you become ordinary, predictable, easy to read, and easy to dismiss. Think about the people you admire most. Are they the ones who talk incessantly about themselves, or are they the ones who carry themselves with quiet confidence, disclosing only what's necessary? True respect is founded on mystery, on reserve, on allowing your actions speak louder than your words. Talking too much offers possibilities for people to challenge you. The more you reveal, the more viewpoints you welcome. The more you explain, the more room you leave for people to query, doubt, or criticize you. But when you say little, when you move in quiet, people have no choice but to respect your presence. Silence commands attention. It forces people to listen when you do. Speak less, it makes your words more striking because they're scarce. When you don't continuously explain yourself, people assume you're secure, that you know something others don't. If you want respect, stop over-explaining. Stop attempting to prove yourself with words. Let your actions, your results, and your energy speak for you. In a world full of noise, individuals who master stillness always stand out. Your time, energy, and thoughts are priceless, but too many people give them away too easily, inviting everyone and everyone into their universe. Then, they wonder why they feel depleted, disrespected, and misunderstood. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves to know what you're thinking, planning, or struggling with. When you make yourself too open, people start taking you for granted. They stop valuing your presence. They feel they can have your attention anytime, and when they do, they don't appreciate it. The truth is, when something is easy to get, it loses its value. That's why people want what's unusual, why they admire what's hard to obtain, and why those who hold back, speak less, and share less are typically the ones most respected. By keeping your life hidden, you create an air of mystery. People start wondering about you. They pay closer attention when you do talk, and they respect your presence more since they don't have unlimited access to it. But more significantly, keeping your energy means protecting your peace. It involves being judicious about who hears your thoughts, who knows your problems, and who gets to be a part of your path. Not everyone is worthy. Not everyone has good intentions, and not everyone will appreciate what you have to offer. So, set boundaries. Guard your time. Be intentional about who you let in. The less accessible you are, the more precious you become. The more you guard your energy, the stronger, more focused, and more powerful you'll feel. Every time you talk, you give a piece of yourself away. You share your thoughts, emotions, and sometimes your shortcomings without even realizing it. Once your words are out, they can't be taken back. They can be misconstrued, manipulated, or used against you. People remember what you say, but not usually how you intended it. A casual comment might become gossip. A simple viewpoint can be regarded as an offense. A moment of vulnerability can turn into a weapon. You might trust someone now, but what happens if that trust fails tomorrow? Will they shelter your words or expose them? That's why silence is a tactic. It keeps you in control. The less you speak, the fewer faults you make. The less you reveal, the tougher it is for others to evaluate or manipulate you. Words are powerful, but only when used correctly. Think about the most influential people. They don't waste words. They speak with intention. They know when to stay mute. They recognize not every thought needs to be expressed, not every opinion voiced, and not every detail revealed. When you control your words, you control your image. You control how others perceive you. You control what others know, assume, and believe. And that control is power. Before you talk, ask yourself, do these words serve me? Do they bring value, or am I merely filling space? Am I giving folks more access to my thoughts than they deserve? In the end, it's not what you say that defines you. It's what you choose not to say. In a world overloaded with noise, stillness is power. The more you say, the more you give up, the more you divulge, the easier it is for others to foresee, control, and influence you. But when you hold back, when you carefully choose your words, you get something much more valuable: control. When you speak less, people start to pay attention. They listen more intently since your words are rare. They begin to wonder about you and regard you as someone who moves with intention. Mystery stimulates curiosity, and curiosity breeds influence. Speaking less also offers you the benefit in any situation. Most people talk without thinking. They divulge their intentions, their flaws, their emotions, ignorant of the implications. Those who stay silent observe. They listen. They comprehend the game before making their move. And when they do speak, their remarks carry weight. Less talking means less drama. The little people know about your business, the less they can meddle. The less you explain, the less viewpoints you have to worry with. The less you reveal, the less judgment you face. Successful, strong, and disciplined people all have one thing in common: they don't waste words. They don't seek validation by talking. They don't explain themselves to people who don't matter. They proceed in silence and let their outcomes speak for them. So if you want more respect, more power, more peace, start saying less. Guard your words. Protect your energy. Let folks wonder, because in the end, the less people know, the stronger you become. Your dreams are delicate. Your ambitions are delicate. The instant you share them with the wrong people, you risk losing them, not because they will take them away, but because they will sow doubt in your mind, damage your confidence, and make you question yourself. Most people don't want to see you succeed, not because they dislike you, but because your success reminds them of their own stagnation. Your desire shows their lack of development, and instead of encouraging you, they transfer their own worries onto you. Are you sure that will work? What if you fail? Maybe you could try something safer. Doubt is contagious. The wrong words at the wrong time might kill your motivation. One harsh comment can shatter your belief. A thoughtless remark might make you hesitate, and uncertainty is the enemy of development. That's why the most successful people move in silence. They don't declare their goals. They don't seek approbation. They don't describe their plans. They labor in the shadows, letting their deeds speak for them. By the time the world recognizes their triumph, it's already too late to stop them. Your vision is yours alone. No one else needs to grasp it. No one else needs to approve of it. Keep it to yourself. Protect it. Nurture it. Let your accomplishment be the only announcement you make, since the less others know, the more unstoppable you become. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, silence is a rare and strong weapon. It keeps people guessing, encourages them to wonder, and makes them nervous since they don't know what you're thinking or intending. You never completely know what someone is thinking, planning, or feeling, and that mystery gives you power. Most people fear silence and rapidly strive to fill it with words, explanations, and reasons. But in doing so, they reveal themselves. They reveal too much too soon, often to the wrong people. They throw away their leverage without even recognizing it. However, those who master quiet hold the upper hand. They listen while others chatter. They observe while others reveal. They regulate their emotions while others react. Because they say little, their words, when they do speak, have weight. Silence also functions as a shield. It protects you from unneeded arguments, draining conversations, and those who only wish to squander your time and energy. When you stay mute, you avoid pointless debates. You refuse to give power to people who try to provoke you, and you refuse to let exterior noise break your inner quiet. Not every thought needs to be said, not every feeling needs to be acknowledged, and not every question needs to be answered. Sometimes, the strongest response is no response at all. Use silence to your advantage. Let folks wonder. Let them assume. Let them question, because the more they strive to figure you out, the more control you have. In the end, the less people know, the more powerful you become. Talking about your plans delivers a temporary impression of accomplishment. It feels nice to discuss your aspirations, to hear encouragement, and to gain validation. But affirmation doesn't build success, execution does, and execution happens in silence. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less energy you have to actually do it. You get locked in a cycle of seeking approval instead of taking action. You offer folks a front row ticket to your challenges before you have outcomes to display. And in doing so, you expose yourself to doubt, criticism, and negativity that can slow you down. But when you move in silence, there is no interference. No one can shoot down a strategy they don't know about. No one can discourage a dream they haven't heard of. No one can stop what they can't see coming. The most successful people realize this. They don't announce every step they make. They don't seek plaudits before they've won. They work quietly, patiently, and relentlessly. By the time the world understands what they've done, the victory is already secured. You don't need to prove yourself with words. Let your results speak for you. Let your growth be louder than any explanation. Let your accomplishment be the sole retort to those who doubted you. In the end, individuals who brag about their ambitions can dazzle people for a while, but those who realize them in quiet leave the world in awe. When people know too much about you, they feel entitled to your life. They think they understand you, that they can predict your next move, and that they have the right to comment on your choices. But when you remain mute, when you keep your life private, you create an aspect of mystery that causes people to wonder. Mystery is powerful. It keeps people intrigued. makes them appreciate you, and forces them to pay attention since they don't know what's coming next. In a world when everyone overshares, those who remain private stand out. People can't ruin something they don't know. They can't attack what they can't see. They can't meddle with a strategy that just exists in your thoughts. The less people know, the fewer opinions you have to deal with. The less they know, the more in control you keep. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Let them presume, let them guess, let them wonder. The more people wonder, the more control you have. True power resides with people who don't need to be understood, only respected. Real strength isn't in how much you share, it's in what you choose to keep secret. The more others know about you, the more control they have over your emotions, your decisions, and your thinking. But when you keep silent, when you refuse to disclose every idea to the world, you reclaim your power. Every time you talk, you offer others a piece of your mind. You allow kids to generate opinions, judge, question, but when you hold back, you stay in charge. No one can forecast your next step, no one can interfere with your growth, and no one can use your words against you since you never gave them the opportunity. Look at individuals who command the most respect. They don't seek attention. They don't explain themselves to everyone. They don't strive to prove anything. They let their actions speak for them, their accomplishments doing all the talking. You don't need to convince the world of your worth. You don't need to reveal your plans. You don't need to explain your dreams. Keep them to yourself. Let them flourish in silence. And when the moment is right, let your success be the only statement you need. Your ultimate power isn't in what you say, it's in what you choose not to say. Weak people need attention. They overshare, they crave approval, and they need to be heard. They feel that revealing their plans, challenges, and emotions makes them powerful. But real strength comes from restraint. The strongest people don't waste energy justifying themselves. They don't beg for understanding or approval from those who don't matter. Instead, they emphasize on action, results. They proceed in silence, letting their outcomes speak for them. Silence creates distance. It differentiates those in control from those readily affected. When you don't reply to every viewpoint, don't explain every action, and don't give others access to your every thought, you become untouchable. Most individuals chatter because they feel uncomfortable with silence. But those who embrace it possess the true power. They don't let outer sounds disturb their inner peace. They don't let distractions divert them from their aims, and they don't let superfluous words sap their vitality. So ask yourself, are you speaking from strength or weakness? Are you talking because it serves you, or because you feel the need to be heard? The strongest people don't talk to show their value, they let their success do that for them. In a world when everyone is eager to publicize their every move, there's a quiet strength in being silent. The less others know about you, the less they may intervene, doubt, or influence your actions. Every moment you divulge your goals, you open the door to opinions. Opinions that might produce hesitancy, self-doubt, and undue pressure. Some may even secretly desire you fail. Failure is inevitable, and others will try to discourage you under the pretext of offering advice. However, when you keep your ambitions to yourself, you eliminate all of that. You can move freely, without interruptions, resistance, or the load of outside expectations. The most successful people don't disclose their plans, they simply act. They don't provide warnings, seek approval, or wait for the perfect moment. They labor in silence, and by the time others understand what they've accomplished, it's already too late to stop them. Privacy isn't about concealing, it's about protection, protecting your energy, your attention, and your confidence. When others don't know what you're preparing, they can't prepare for it. They can't sabotage it or slow you down. So move silent, let them wonder, let them presume. And when the outcomes speak for themselves, they'll realize too late that you were always 10 steps ahead. The instant you stop explaining yourself, you regain control. The instant you stop seeking approval, you get independence. And the moment you stop letting others into your every thought, you become unpredictable. Being unpredictable is a sort of power. When others can't read you, they can't manipulate you. When they don't know your next move, they can't meddle. When people don't fully comprehend you, they're obliged to appreciate you. Mystery creates caution. It makes folks think twice before underestimating you. Most individuals talk because they want to feel important. They believe that disclosing everything will earn them greater respect, acceptance, or understanding. But true power comes from doing the opposite. The less you reveal, the more others have to assume. Assumptions produce uncertainty. Silence allows you time to ponder, to move cautiously, and to observe before acting. Those who talk too much typically reveal themselves before they're ready. They rush to share before they've even achieved anything, hurting their own position. But when you walk in silence, you stay ahead, you control the narrative, minimize distractions, and establish a presence that communicates louder than words. So if you want true power, stop explaining. Stop proving. Just work, just move, just win, and let your achievements speak for you. Too many people squander energy attempting to prove themselves. They want people to notice their growth, to recognize their efforts, or to perceive their potential. But true success doesn't need affirmation, nor does it need an audience. It merely needs discipline, attention, and silence. The most forceful moves are made in the dark. The greatest life-changing decisions happen in solitude. And the biggest transformations occur when no one is watching. When you remove outside perspectives, when you stop explaining, you stop seeking acceptance, and when you stop seeking approval, you become unstoppable. People don't need to know your challenges, your next step, or the process behind your journey. Let them ponder, let them assume, let them doubt. Because by the time they recognize what you've built, it will be too late for them to question it. Your success doesn't need to be announced, approved, or applauded. It only takes you to come up every day, performing the task in silence, without interruptions, without the urge to be seen. Because when the results speak, there's nothing left to say.